Hey, great way to start a show. Great Monday evening. It is a crazy, beautiful evening in the city of Brownsville, Texas, and I just drove in. Went to Kamori, had myself a little bit of sushi, and came straight home after having a big old lunch today at Mocambo's, where I saw Captain Bob.
Yes, good evening. It is a beautiful evening, and thank you for the invitation to come on your wonderful show, Erasmo.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to have you, Captain Bob. You are a very colorful figure,
Why, thank you.
handsome too.
Okay, well you're pretty good looking yourself.
I think so too. Let me say that. Good evening, good evening. Let's get some comments. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Joe, oh my man. Hello, Paul, my man, and Ben, food critic, sugar daddy, Papa Bear. Let me say it's an interesting day. Again, today is the first day for individuals who are attending BISD school. Some of our charter school kids started to go back last week or 2 weeks ago. Mandy finally catch you live, but our BISD students go back today. I know that we met up today with your princess at the restaurant. Is she going back to school anytime soon?
That's a good question. She's 3 years and 4 months old, and I got her registered at Solomon Ortiz Preschool. But I did talk to the principal today. I need about another couple more weeks to potty train because since they're young, if there's an accident, they're going to call either myself or her mom, and both of us are pretty busy to go to the school and change Stella. So I'm doing some intense potty training, may I say, and I'm happy to say she's doing real well, and we're almost there. So I just need a couple more weeks, and the school said that's okay. Bring her when you want. It's not kinder where 5-year-olds must be in school. It's a pre-schooling
Pre-K.
session. So we'll get there. We'll get there.
That's awesome. I had a lot of my church people actually, send their kids to school for the first time today, and get to see all these pictures out there, and it's kind of cute, I guess, to send kids off to school, especially individuals that hadn't had an opportunity, have had their kids with them, which is your case as well. You've had your child with you, but church members of mine, this is the first time that they've separated from their child in regards to sending them off all day to school, and they seem to have adjusted well so far. I think both of them are going to Aiken Elementary out there, so we'll be visiting Aiken just to see how my church kids are doing. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure that the schools are always excited to see Erasmo Castro walk through their doors.
Well, I was happy everybody started school. I did take my baby with me on my morning shopping spree for the restaurant. And of course, we're going over the vegetables as I buy fresh vegetables, the cilantro, the green peppers, the celery, and she's naming all of them. She's doing so well. So we're learning on our own right now. I look forward to getting her in preschool pretty soon.
No, I'm glad you mentioned the restaurant. One of the things that we did meet up this early morning, afternoon at Mocambo's. We were invited. I think both you and myself were invited by Ben Benavides. You as a business owner, but myself as a normal citizen here in the city of Brownsville to do a food review of the food out there at Mocambo's. And let me say, I enjoyed it. I think they had good food, and
Well, it was great company, and I'm a fan of Papa Bear Food Critic Show. I'm so happy he's online with his show. There's always room for more shows, in my opinion.
yeah, I'm proud too. Let me say it takes I think a little bit of the burden away from you and I. And I think one of the conversations that you and I had today was how taxing it is actually to do as many shows as we have been doing, and I appreciate a lot of folks that have reached out and said, hey, that's what's okay if you're taking a little bit of time out, a little bit of break, and I actually want to do that. I need to step away a little bit, and I've made mention of this because it's healthy for me to step away and not be completely overwhelmed. One of the things that I promised to do is continue to post on my page, which is the largest platform south of San Antonio in regards to social media presence. So I don't mind doing that. I'll continue to do that, but I do want to have my Erasmo time. Like this past weekend, I think I mentioned it to you, Captain Bob. This past weekend, I traveled off to Monterrey, Nuevo León. The previous weekend, I was in Guatemala. This next weekend, I'll be back in Monterrey, and then I'm going to spend a couple of days in Mexico City. I'm going to visit the Venezuelan consulate in Mexico City, and I'm hoping to get a visa as a Mexican citizen to enter Venezuela, which has always been one of my dreams. I want to visit Venezuela before this Christmas. That's my goal.
That's good. I haven't been to Venezuela. I've been to Colombia and all over Mexico, but I admire you for that.
I love Colombia. I've been to Colombia 3 times, and unlike the city of Brownsville and GBEC, I paid my own way, and I didn't visit any whorehouses like GBEC did, and that Hiltz guy and all those other people that were chosen from the previous Brownsville City Commission. So if I am going to visit a whorehouse, Captain Bob, you better believe it's not going to come from the citizens of Brownsville's money. It's going to come from Erasmo Castro's money.
Sure, sure. But remember, like somebody told me, they're not whores, they're prostitutes.
Well,
So I don't know which.
it's what they're called, whorehouses. Or what was it? What they called? Well, yeah, like the best little whorehouse in Texas. Remember that?
There you go. You're right. Now, I wanted to ask you, I got some texts from some people in town that an organization got $20,000 from BCICs, an organization named Fish. Can you explain what Fish is?
Fish. I did not know, but I'd like to know. I'd like to get a little bit of information. One of the things, Captain Bob, and God help us all. The previous mayor who said that I've never gotten any money, got $85,000. And in retrospect, a lot of people think like, well, that's not really a lot of money because he's investing more money. Well, to me, Captain Bob, I don't know to you. To me, $85,000 is a lot of money.
I agree. And you brought up a good point. I got a phone call from a guy that used to run Casa de las Palmas historic hotel in McAllen. He happened to be in Brownsville. I think he has some relatives here. And he was at the Brownsville airport, and he saw that the restaurant isn't functioning. So he reached out to me, who I reached out to Roy de los Santos and Pedro Cardenas to get a little more information, what's going on with the restaurant at the airport. It looks like they put PFRs, proposals for requests, and they did one, and they only got one restaurant that was interested, and that was Tony Martinez's 1848 with the Limas.
The Limas, yeah.
And then the certain city commissioners said, no, we're not going to do that. They sent another PRQ, and they sent another offer to anybody out there. I understand they got one or two. So I hooked up Abby Scudder to call over there to get on the list to see who's going to get in that restaurant. I'm surprised there's not a restaurant there after that ribbon cutting ceremony, 9 months ago, 6 months ago?
Yeah.
It's still not a restaurant there, but Mr. Scudder really is a cuisine chef that does Cajun food and ran the historic hotel. He'd be a wonderful candidate. But here we go again, where the former mayors are trying to finagle their way in there and continue business, either with BCIC money or at the airport restaurant or anywhere. Boy, they really learned a whole bunch, not for the people, but for themselves.
Oh, they're going to make a killing. But, I find it hard for any other establishment, Captain Bob, that is not linked to the corrupt political machine to actually be successful at the airport. I don't know if you've flown out of Brownsville, but there's not a lot of people out there. And I don't know how they would be able to sustain themselves as a restaurant. I know 7th and Park has a coffee shop up there on the second floor, which is not much right now. It's just a couple of tables, and they're trying to sell coffee. They got great stuff. Not joking with you. I was flying out to Guatemala, and I ran into uh, Jaime Diaz, a friend of mine. I love Jaime Diaz, a great young man, very handsome, great outspoken, great individual. I love Jaime Diaz, and we were having a conversation, and got some oatmeal there at some all night oats there at 7th Park. It was great, great stuff. Their coffee was great. It's just I just don't see how they're going to be successful in that little bitty spot with the very little flow of people that go through the airport. And I think that this is one of those things, Captain Bob, where they're trying to put the cart before the horse. We should have built up the airport even before we decided, to try and bring in these shops, these restaurants that, unfortunately for us, individuals that don't have the connects with the city of Brownsville, where they're going to get all these subsidies, all this money from BCIC, GBEC, or from the city of Brownsville, they won't be able to make it. So I don't see how I don't know, like a Doña Tota's Tortas or a Doña Carmen's restaurant will ever stand a chance to make it at the airport.
Well, if we look at history, there was a gentleman, he's already up in heaven, Dwayne Tyner, an owner of Louis' Backyard, put a bar and a restaurant in there. And I don't think it lasted too long. He gave it his best shot. But I don't know if this new group of individuals like Mr. Scudder are thinking about SpaceX people going through in and out of there. I don't know. Usually people that fly out of Brownsville get there about 20 minutes before and they're already fed. And they get on that plane and get on out. I don't know. They know something I don't know.
You mentioned something that's really, that's spot on, Captain Bob. The issue is if individuals from Brownsville are going to be flying out of Brownsville, well, there's very little need for you to get there, with time. And by then, you have an array of restaurants going down Boca Chica that you could stop and pick up anything you want to eat. Because let me tell you, I actually got at the airport an hour before my flight to Guatemala, and that's an international flight. I could have easily gone there 30 minutes before, and I still would have been okay. In that time, I could have had coffee at Dunkin' Donuts, at Shipley's, anywhere in the city of Brownsville, and still made it to my flight. So it's really kind of hard to grasp the idea because I had a layover in Houston when I flew back from Guatemala. Had a 3-hour layover, so I found a place close to where the gate was. Got myself a drink, let the drink go down, and then went to buy me a burger at Smash Burgers or something. That wasn't too great, but had me a burger at Smash Burger. So in that case, I'm spending more time at the airport. So I actually spent some money there because I also went to that some candy shop that they have and bought myself a big old bag of jelly beans, watermelon flavored jelly beans, because it makes sense to have these shops in a airport like Houston because you have all this traffic, Captain Bob. In the city of Brownsville, we don't have that traffic. Plus, if anyone wants to fly out to Las Vegas, which is going to start on September the 8th through Avelo Airlines, to Orlando, or to I think it's California. I think it's Los Angeles. I can't remember what cities out there. But if you want to fly out there, you don't have to be out there 2, 3, 4 hours before. You'll be out there 45 minutes and you're going to be okay. There's not going to be a lot of people out there.
Well, if you look at, of course, a nice restaurant might work over there in the Houston, Dallas, San Antonio airport where they have decent restaurants. Harlingen, if I haven't flown out of Harlingen in a while, I think it's just sandwiches. It's quick food.
Yeah.
Finger food, a sandwich here and there, a nice tea, a Coke, some chips.
Yeah.
It's nothing you know,
because you don't have the time. And that's, I think that's one of the that's what, and this is where people of Brownsville, they missed their mark because all they had to do was research Harlingen Airport or McAllen Airport, and you'll find out it's not convenient because you could pick up a sandwich at one of these, convenient machines, and pop up a sandwich. You're going to be okay. But you could literally go down Ed Carey Drive and go to Arby's, McDonald's, crap load of Whataburgers out there, a bunch of different restaurants, or even Jimmy Dean's, Jimmy Dean's sandwiches.
yeah.
Yeah, those sandwiches are pretty good. I like the cucumber beach ocean one. I think it's called.
Well, Jack in the Box is advertising Jimmy Dean breakfast sandwiches with egg and biscuit.
It's amazing. What's
So
the name?
it's going to be interesting. Another point, Erasmo, if this particular area in the airport that's meant for a restaurant, I'm curious, is there an overhead vent? Is there equipment? Because if there's no equipment, no refrigerator, no freezer, no skillet area, no deep fryer, they're looking at $70,000 to $100,000 investment in equipment. I don't know what's out there. I don't know if it's just a shell of a space to rent. It's going to be interesting how that develops. But the city, I kind of heard might push sandwiches. So they might do something like the public library on Central Boulevard. You know, that little cafe?
Which cafe?
In the public library, the city public library on Central Boulevard. They got a little sandwich spot
They
there.
have a
inside the
sandwich
library.
spot there at the cafe, don't they?
Say that again?
They have a little sandwich spot there at the library.
Yes, yes. I think they're going to mimic that at the airport.
Well, one of the things that I noticed from that one actually is how they really don't have a lot of options, and the little options they have at times, are limited in regards to what they can produce. I think I've been to the city library once or twice and couldn't find basically anything out there.
Well, yeah, I went over there once and I was looking for a coffee and it wasn't available at that moment. So, that's interesting.
Buck Fighten. I think Buck Fighten actually travels some, and let me say, it's just it doesn't make sense to have a restaurant out there at the airport unless they're, again, and I think this is one of the things that the Limas brothers are probably pushing for, is that they get all this subsidized money from the city of Brownsville in order to have it out there. Now, the question is, do we really need a restaurant out there? And my response is probably going to be no. You could probably have a bunch of these convenient machines out there, which should supply the need of individuals that are, flying towards a different airport where they could actually get a meal out there.
Yeah. They could just come in there during the flights and contract with Doña Carmen or Cafe Amiga or Ultimo Taco to show up with the tacos. I don't know. It's just an idea. An investment in equipment might be a little hefty if you're going to get in the airport. Just my thoughts. Erasmo, I always enjoy talking with you because we come up with important subjects like this restaurant at the airport. But if I may, one of the subjects I like to cover, because we want at CBS to improve the quality of life in our community and in the Rio Grande Valley. And one of the top three is we got to put the subject back in the forefront, is the second causeway crossing the South Padre Island. Because how many of us have experienced maybe taking 45 minutes or an hour to get on the island or more during the holiday seasons? And once you're out there, you get sunburned, you're playing with your children, you're swimming, you get a little exhausted, the sun's going down, it's time to head back to Brownsville. A 30-minute drive max. But the other day it took us close to 2 hours because of the causeway. too packed. And Port Isabel, too clogged up, leaving the area. So, and I have Stella, and she wants to get home. Poor thing went to sleep in the car. Here we are for 2 hours trying to get back. And it's because the area needs another causeway. The valley feeds into the island. We do have out-of-towners from Mexico and Dallas and Houston from the Southwest, but I would imagine 90% are valley people from Rio Hondo, Santa Rosa, McAllen, Harlingen, everywhere, just coming on in to go to the island. So we want to put that on the forefront is a second causeway. Honorable Carlos Cascos said back when he was a state official, they were talking about it. They had a price tag of $350 million that now, because they've waited, it's around $500 million, $500 million to get that causeway, the second one. Well, time's clicking away. We need the causeway. And I'm happy also about the international bridges. I heard today they opened 6 lanes. They only had 2 open. Now, I don't cross the Matamoros. I know you do, but people were excited that 6 lanes were open.
Well, it's crazy, and I agree with you. Let me tell you, I think that this issue in regards to the causeway has been on the back burner for far too long, and I agree. It's one of those things that if we had individuals out there that had the vision, we'd be worrying about that instead of putting all our eggs in the basket in regards to let's get an arena, because these guys were all dead set about getting an arena. That it really just sounded counterproductive in regards to what benefit it was going to bring to the people of Brownsville. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with you in regards to the causeway, because we're talking about an avenue that's going to actually bring more individuals into a specific area, which would actually also help the city of Brownsville, because our airport is actually named Brownsville South Padre Island International Airport. So we've got to make that link to where it's more accessible to get on the island. But we got to stop talking about it. We got to start doing something about it.
Well, Erasmo, you got city elected officials and county elected officials. I haven't heard of anybody taking a forefront position on a second causeway or even the international bridge delays. These are 2 massive delays that are affecting the citizens of Brownsville. We got to enjoy the South Padre Island. It's a gem of the state of Texas. It takes forever to get on there and get off. Just during the holiday seasons when everybody wants to go. Granted, in the winter, you're on and off quickly. But I think they need the second causeway to enhance the quality of life for all the families and population here in the valley, especially Brownsville, since we're the closest and we're the largest city in the Rio Grande Valley. So those are issues that are dear to my heart. Also, I'm very happy you've helped me on my show discuss the expressway, especially north of Rancho Viejo, all the way to Veterans Bridge. Now, I want to thank Commissioner Roy de los Santos that has come forward here in the last 5-6 days with information where I asked them, the CBS board of directors asked them, go find out what's going on, because it looks like you guys got most of them on from Alton Glore to Veterans. My concern was now Olmito and Rancho Viejo and where Madeira's going to be. They were all off. Boy, he reported to me 200 lights were off from the sports park all the way up to where Madeira's going to be built. They're working on it. They've replaced hundreds and hundreds of feet of cable, circuit breakers. The infrastructure was kind of in disarray. But if you travel the expressway and you look at the light poles in the middle, hey man, they're quality stuff. It looks very modern. And like I say, that's the entrance, the main artery into Brownsville. And at night, people are coming in and leaving, and we want that. And also we want colored lights that change colors under the overpasses like they have in Harlingen. Now, somebody came up and go, well, what are you going to do? They're going to put them rainbow color? Well, those colors are from the rainbow. They're blue, red, yellow. You know, the rainbow is the colors. I don't know. I just want color under there. I told them to do it by Christmas. Now, Erasmo, the PUB has smart electricians. The PUB can get on a computer and get the multicolored lights. Just pick the four most popular overpasses and put the lights under there, like Boca Chica and the expressway, right there. One of the most traveled intersections in the Rio Grande Valley is right there at Boca Chica and the expressway. And then jump to Price Road and expressway, and then jump to Alton Glorm and the expressway. Put lights that change. My daughter and me love being in Harlingen over there by what is it? By Hooters and Cracker Barrel and all those places. Go look over there. They're all multicolored lights. It looks beautiful. You get another feel for the valley.
Right. Well, something to see, but then let me go back real quick to the airport thing, because one of the things that I had thought, Captain Bob, as a solution, then we'll go back to the causeway. One of the things that I had thought as a solution was to border off a section of that airport, where they were planning to have this restaurant, and let individuals set up these little mini food trucks, and instead of having them there all this time, if they're expecting a flight, like with Avelo, one of the things that I learned was the flight going out, the first flight that's going out to Las Vegas is going to be at I'll tell you right now, 11:45 in the morning. So why don't you have a schedule because we only have certain flights, a schedule out there so that these food trucks, whoever wants to come, 3 or 4 little food carts, can go up there and set up food that's already been prepared at their place, keep it warm, bring it here, and then sell it to individuals that want to buy them.
I like that idea. And it would be your second phrase, food carts. Have them come in, just like Matamoros. I don't remember seeing food trucks. I see food carts, and those are some of the best tacos one can eat over there in Matamoros. Whatever they're doing in those food carts as you're about to get on the bridge, I remember that 10 or 15 years ago. Yeah. Some of that was delicious.
Amazing. And it doesn't take up that much space, because let me tell you, one of the things that I remember, and I'm glad you mentioned that, when I used to travel in para Central de Matamoros, we'd always stop off at those little taco stands that were right there, right next to the Central, instead of eating at the Central and around it. It's just as simple. Do the same and let individuals, so people can go out there and start selling, I don't know, from 10:30 till 12 o'clock. And that way, that's an hour and a half. Then they can go back to their restaurants and then come back whenever the next flight is at, 3 o'clock, come back at 2 o'clock, set up, sell for a couple of hours, and then go back. That way they don't have any, overcharge in regards to having to pay for electricity and for floor space or anything else. Plus, you're providing food service to individuals here in the city of Brownsville. Plus, you're providing an extra avenue of earnings for small business here locally. So you could have a Doña Carmen out there with her cart. You could have a Beagles out there with a cart. You could have Shipley's Donuts out there with a cart if they want. But just a couple of different carts, like 5-6 different carts, that people have, an ounce of variety. I think it'd be a great idea. In regards, going back into the causeway thing, we've got to do something because one of the things that I don't know if you've had to deal with, Captain Bob, but the traffic at times on South Padre Island Highway, just here in Brownsville, is horrible because of all those 18-wheelers that are coming through, that are coming from the port. And that clogs up a big old section of the avenue that goes out to the island, when we were supposed to have, Captain Bob, a loop that goes around all the way around Brownsville, all the way from Port of Brownsville, using 511, all the way out there to Matamoros. We don't have that yet, and that's just very, very unfortunate.
Well, Erasmo, just picture this. That LNG plant on the side of Highway 48, between 48 and the ship channel, getting close to Port Isabel. What about the congestion when that's up and going in about 4 to 6 years? at that area with those trucks and coming in and out of that plant. Nobody's thinking about the future. They got to build a second causeway, and it's got to be, I don't know, more north, not where this one is. Don't build another one next to it. A little further off where they have access to it from Los Fresnos or.
Well, I thought that they were actually thinking about using the old Queen Isabella Pier. Remember that one?
Yeah.
But that one is farther south into it. I mean, I hadn't thought about having, but I think you're right. It would ease off a lot of the traffic going into Port Isabel. And Port Isabel is a speed trap as is Los Fresnos and Rio Hondo. You
Well,
can't.
you get a lot of the traffic on the north side of the beach where they go into access one, access two, access three, and on of the county. That public beach fills up. A lot of the traffic is out there. And you want to, the plan is to get this causeway over there by where the Shores is, the Shores subdivision, north of Bahia Mar, on that side of the island. So I think they need to think about it. And going back to Highway 48, I can't believe our forefathers didn't loop it kind of along the ship channel, because the ship channel
A shit
leading
show?
into the ship, but close to it, so that everybody driving could see the shrimp boats closer and the ships coming in and out. They should have ran it more over there. I don't know. There's probably reasons they didn't do that. But we got to think of that LNG plant. It's going to clog it up over there at the entrance to Port Isabel in 48. Nobody's thinking. Nobody's planning. We got county officials. We have city elected officials that need to think outside of the city too. All the citizens of Brownsville not only think outside of the box, think what's going on the outside of the city that affects the quality of life of all of us in Brownsville.
Hey, let me ask you. You know that tomorrow they're having a workshop in regards to them increasing the taxes here in the city of Brownsville. What's your take on that?
Well, I don't like it. The expenses are already too much. I had a landlord at one of my businesses text me last night at 10 o'clock at night that he has to pump up the rent a little bit because of insurance. We're not even at the taxes yet. Now I got blindsided with increased insurance. And so, I took it. I'm taking it right now. I'm absorbing it. Everybody increased their prices once because of inflation and the high cost of merchandise. And of course, the PUB, what was done to us. But I mean, come on. When is this going to end?
It's not. Unfortunately, it's not, and it's not going to end. It's not going to end well for any of us, and that's what's unfortunate. Hey, do you have bow ties?
I think I got two.
But do you have the already made ones or the ones you make?
It's the ones you make. I think one of them's already made, and the other one's the ones you make. But I had the instructions on a piece of paper, and I used to follow it back in high school and college, and it would come out okay.
I need a white bow tie. Do you have a white bow tie?
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna have to order one because I'm wearing this black shirt on Saturday for this birthday party, and I'm thinking I'm going to go black shirt with a white bow tie and a white overcoat. That would look kind of hot, don't you think?
I think so.
The other option is to go all black with a dark blue paisley and just wear jeans and maybe a blue sports coat. I'm not sure.
Well, the bow ties fit you. You're known to wear those, and it fits you. Almost like Texas Senator Eddie Lucio.
Yeah.
He jumped the bow ties. It was all right.
Yeah, he looked good. Actually, I think he looked good. I think the only thing that was bad about his bow ties, they were already made bow ties. I like my bow ties where I have to make them. I want to put my fingers in them.
There you go.
Just like my dates. And so I'm going to order a bow tie, white.
That's cool. That's good.
But part of the problem is, I just think that the ones that you make look a lot more classier, don't you think?
Yeah, but they could get undone during the night. But it looks like I would imagine you're pretty savvy at tying them up.
Oh yeah,
Most people aren't with a bow tie. I'd have to go Google it and look at it and play with it for a while. But I usually don't wear bow ties unless it's a black tie event, which I haven't been invited to one in ages. But you never know.
yeah. You never know as that something might come up, and all of a sudden you'll have yourself a nice little bow tie. I got a paisley bow tie, but it's already made. Should I order that one? Crap.
Yeah, I'd order it. It's okay if it's already made.
Oh no, I found. Look at this. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Luther's Pike, Seattle. Bow ties for men.
Wonderful.
I can't see it. Yeah, I'm gonna order that one. Screw that. And it'll be here, I think, on Friday, which is good because my event is on Saturday. So, I'm trying to, to make one of my my exes like kick herself in the butt for having broken my heart
There you go.
because they deserve to have their heart broken, like they destroyed mine.
Well, most we had a show once about a little bit of that subject, and it looks like, and from my experience, a man he does have a heart, and we hurt, and the women can shut it off and walk away, and a man sits there hurting months, years, half his life. I've seen it happen to a lot of my friends, and we get our heart broken.
But it's horrible because a lot of times, Captain Bob, a lot of times people think, oh well, men are the horrible ones, right? And sometimes that's the case, but a lot of times, a lot of you know women act really mean towards men in regards to like not letting them see their children and stuff, and I think that kind of sucks, don't you think?
Yeah, oh, I agree with you 150%.
So, I think every case you gotta like really, really look at it, to completely understand what the situation is. But I trust me, I've been up to like 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning speaking to men, who have suffered at the hands of an individual that is keeping them from their children. That should not happen.
It's very very common, very common.
Now I'm trying to order pearls. Oh my God, Captain Bob. What's your take on pearls on men?
Um, I really haven't thought about it. You're making me smile intensely. I don't pearls. I don't know. I like fish cufflinks, like my friend Billy Bradford wore on his show on CBS. He had some trout cufflinks. I like that. Uh, I'm a guy that if I find a tie with shrimp, I'll buy it. A bow tie with shrimp, I'll buy it. Anything with seafood, I like.
Let me ask you. Have you ever bought Viagra in Matamoros?
I, no, I have not.
Well, I'm curious because I know that a lot of people sometimes go buy prescription medication in Mexico, and I hear that they're a little bit on the expensive side.
Well,
Just
I did have a partner 20 years ago from out of town that always wanted dozens and dozens of Viagra's. So I sent them to somebody that would go get it from Matamoros, but it wasn't for him. What was surprising, it was for his girlfriend. She would take them. Have you heard of that?
no,
They swore they got extremely romantic.
really.
A woman taking Viagra.
I'm Interested now.
Yeah, an intense appetite for activity.
I'm very much interested now.
Yeah, but I thank God I don't need it. Uh, but
You don't, but you don't need it till you need it.
that's right.
You don't want to get caught and not having it.
Okay.
So I'm planning to go to Matamoros in the next couple of days and go find out how much those little blue pills cost. I'll
Well,
let you.
there's people that do it. I guess under the radar and cross that stuff over and sell it.
Oh, you could get them at Garcia's. I mean, I think I've seen them advertised there like Viagra. I mean, I've never had the use for them, and I might never have the use for them. But what happens if one of these days I might have the use for them? I sure as hell want to have them handy, don't you think?
Well, you're sure, but if you're on the causeway in 3 hours of traffic, why take it? You got to sit in your car. That's why we need the second causeway to get on and off the island quickly, so you can get to the hotel room at Erasmo.
Well, yeah, I think I'm going to go buy them and see what happens. I want to try them out. I'm just curious, you know.
You've never tried it?
No, I'm not good at sex stuff, so never tried it.
I just stick to oysters. That's it.
You take the Viagra and start singing, "Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs?" Let me tell you that that oysters that we had today at Mocamos was delicious.
Well, you there's something I learned in the seafood industry, and I used to move trailer loads of it. It's called roe, which is the fish eggs.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
That.
the one that was an aphrodisiac that they strongly believe is the roe from the trashy fish, the mullet, and containers of mullet roe would go to Taiwan. The belief over there is it works like Viagra for the men, but the women, after they have their baby, they eat mullet roe to get their strength and get back to normal. I thought that was interesting. And they still want mullet roe in Taiwan for those reasons.
Let me tell you, one of the things that I discussed today is I do plan to take a trip to Thailand uh, in April next year. You want to go?
Well,
I'm going to Bangkok.
that would be interesting. What you should do is return, go fill out the visas and bring back about six of those beautiful women and marry them to fine gentlemen like me and other men in Brownsville
On the
that
bridge.
have had their heart broken.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Captain Bob. We're on the same boat, Captain.
That's right. And our boat has been hurt with broken hearts, almost sinking, but we patched up that hole. We're sailing on.
Keep on sailing, trucker.
We're off to another harvest.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to Monterrey this weekend. You know, I'm going to do a little bit of harvesting and sowing some seeds, and then next week I'll be going to Mexico City and doing hopefully a full day's worth of sowing some seeds. That's why I'm curious about the little blue pills and the oysters. But now I'm curious about the fish eggs.
Yeah, I can hook you up with mullet roll.
I
And
I
we
get
like to
I get
we like to deep fry them and put them in a fresh corn tortilla with some of that Mocambo or Captain Bob salsa on top, and just go to town.
can you prepare us a couple of tacos and let's have some one day
Yes, absolutely.
this week?
Yes.
All right, you
Give me
promise.
a day notice.
Let's do it on Saturday, but right before, no. on Friday. I leave on Saturday.
But is Papa Bear gonna want to do a show on Mullet Road
Yeah, Papa Bear will be there and do a live show on
on
after.
the consumption of Mullet Road and
Yeah,
how it can increase your harvest opportunities?
yeah, and see if things are
For
on
their
the
benefits.
if things are on the up and up.
Okay.
The Parmesan fish was great. It was great. Let me tell you
You
that's
know, I had some friends. One of them's an international businessman that called me, picking at me, that why in the world did I turn you and Papa Bear on to Parmesan fish fillets, and I've never turned them on to Parmesan fish fillets? And I said, because all you guys want to do is eat fried shrimp with double rice.
it was good.
You have to surf the menu at Mocambo and Captain Bob. Parmesan fish and Parmesan shrimp is wonderful.
Do you have that at
Another,
Captain Bob too?
huh?
You have that at Captain Bob too?
Yeah, we have that there too. Parmesan shrimp and Parmesan fish fillet.
I'm gonna
I
go.
also recommend shrimp and curry sauce. It's delicious. Delicious.
I love curry, but I have to have my fish fried. So I'm going to go to Captain Bob's this week and get me some Parmesan fish and shrimp.
Fish and shrimp, Parmesan. Tell them.
Let me tell you, it was delicious. Papa
Yeah,
Bear.
I know, and you're making me think, since I'm the buyer, I'm going to buy extra Parmesan because I expect an influx of diners that are going to want Parmesan fish and Parmesan shrimp.
It was good.
Okay?
It was good.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I might even do a food show on your Parmesan fish and shrimp and that mullet roll.
I'm all in. I'm fine with that.
Let's do it
I'm
Friday.
fine with it. I would like that.
I like you.
Okay, well, I appreciate it.
Captain Bob, you're an amazing man. Despite what everybody else says, you're top in my book.
Rem- Remember, it doesn't matter what they say about you, just as long as they're talking about you.
It's all that matters, baby. Guys, have a great evening. Thank you, Captain Bob. You're amazing. You're always amazing.
I'll see you soon.
You sent me Friday with some mullet roll.
Okay.
I'll bring you some blue little pills from Matamoros.
We're going to eat mullet roll. Get ready.
I'm ready. I'm gonna have my my partner make sure that they're ready. Guys, have a great evening. We'll try. I'm going to try to make the meeting tomorrow. See what happens, guys. Captain Bob's amazing. Mocambo's amazing. Great stuff, guys. See you tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock in the morning. Be good to each other. Continue to be good to me. God bless.
Thank you.
Bye.